All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for Space Dandy, Season 1, Episode 11.
Okay.
All right. In the last episode, we had a wonderfully wholesome episode with time loops and just
family and reconciliation.
Good stuff with Meow and character development. And we're moving into the next episode, which will be coming up on the end of Season 1.
That's true. So if they did want to do some kind of continuity finale or something, like this would be about where to do it.
Yeah, but just thinking about the fact that we are already almost through the first season.
I know.
There's been a lot that they've done thus far, and yet the fun, rambunctious aspect of this show is still going strong, so I don't see them running out with episodic ideas anytime soon. So, y'all, without further ado, let's get into this. Space Dandy. He's a dandy guy in space. He combs the galaxy like his pompadour on the hunt for aliens. Planet after planet he searches, discovering bizarre new creatures, both friendly and not. These are the spectacular adventures of Space Dandy and his brave space crew in space.
These time-space distortions indicate the existence of a tremendous amount of energy.
Wait.
Interesting.
That feels like
going into
continuity.
If power truly exists in this universe, then that would mean...
As they say, all work and no play leads to a monotonous existence.
I love the focus on these characters.
How many times must I remind you to check in regularly? These long-distance space phone charges are nothing to sneeze at, Doctor.
Wow.
With all of his bungling, it's easy to forget that he's actually a gifted scientist.
Well, you certainly can't tell by looking at him.
Since the Doctor is indisposed, I'll let you handle this matter, B. We are launching a full-scale assault to conquer planet Legato. No one harasses the great Admiral Perry about an overdue book and gets away with it.
Oh my God.
To make them pay.
I can't
Wow.
help but feel as though there's something vital missing from this formula.
Okay. We might be getting into the whole fact that there's multiple dandies and the
maybe
the crew and everything.
You can't
the
open
box.
it, because if you do, we're gonna forget what's inside.
But if I don't, I'll never know what it was in the first place.
I'm
Oh my
telling
God.
you, once you open that box, it'll be like none of this ever happened, you dig?
I'm
What?
sorry. I don't understand a word of what you just said.
Okay.
Killing me. Problem is, if you look at it, you'll forget it. Which is why nobody's discovered the damn thing till now.
This is like Doctor Who,
How did you manage
basically.
to capture this alien when everyone else forgets that they've ever even seen it?
Well, obviously, baby, I've forgotten that.
Only one way to find out. We'll never
I left
know
myself
unless
a
we open
note.
the box and see what's inside.
No.
Uh-oh.
Oh crap. Oh crap, there is something going on. Time stopped.
Dandy?
Oh,
Oh, what's up, Scarlet?
Is there something I can help you with?
Yeah,
Wow.
I brought this rare alien in for you to check out.
I left a note.
Weird. I have this faint recollection of capturing something.
Yeah, me too. I got this hazy feeling like we made the discovery of the century.
What the heck is this?
a little
How should I
paper
know? You're the one who brought it here.
in a weird language. Okay.
Yeah.
Whoa.
He's tripping.
Don't you
Tripping
think
balls.
attacking the planet is a tad excessive? All you have to do is return the book and they'll stop harassing you.
I can't. It was stolen.
They look familiar. I feel like we've dealt with them before.
Oh, wow.
I can't put my finger on it.
Wow.
This whole mess started because Dr. Jill insisted I
great.
check out a book that he needed to complete his research. At this point, the overdue fine is going to be ridiculous.
It's all coming together.
Yep.
Secrets of the Cosmos for Dummies.
Oh my god, yes.
Okay.
This book ain't no joke. I bet you it holds the secret to something.
Oh yeah? Something such as what?
I can't give it a quick search because I need an update in order to do that. And I would need another update just to be able to perform that update. But the last time I tried to update it failed miserably, so I don't even remember what I was talking about anymore.
Oh my gosh!
Wow.
This is getting so crazy. Just... Ha!
Wow.
Oh wow, you guys are taking a trip to Planet Legato?
You know, now that you mention it, it does look like that's what it says, huh?
Yep, all you can eat, all you can drink, and all you can read.
There ain't nothing more
Whoa,
delicious than free
okay.
food, baby. I'm sold. Planet Legato, we're coming for
Is
you.
Honey coming with us now?
I
Because
think she
can read
has to,
this
yeah,
stuff?
'cause she can actually... Oh,
Nope, guess not.
all right.
The fact that everything went all like gray,
Yeah.
yellow.
His buddies always hang out here. Why does it feel like I haven't seen them in a while?
Wait, what?
Hmm.
Oh my god. This is crazy. What's going on?
How dare those insolent fools hassle the Admiral about an overdue library book? We're going to make them regret it.
Yes.
Wow.
Picking up a ship, port side aft. It's warping out.
It's the Aloha Oi. We've got
This looks
trouble.
like ping
Dr.
pong,
Gel,
kinda.
It's Space Dandy.
The art style?
Well, it's pretty much the same art style for the characters, though. You're talking about the
Well, yeah, the design
background?
is the same, but
Fire tractor beams. I want that ship and its crew captured.
Yes, sir.
the way things are being drawn.
Why, Dandy? You ruin everything.
I don't know. I can't really tell. The Yuasa style is more regarding the animation, so
Yeah.
I don't think it is. Whoa! This is cool!
Look painted.
Yeah.
Maybe hit something though, Dandy.
Jeez! Okay.
Launch missiles at once.
The target has vanished.
Did they warp?
No, it appears they used an
What?
unknown transport device. What should we do, sir?
They transported the whole ship?
It seems you're smarter than I thought you were, Dandy.
Oh my god.
Okay.
What is
I
this
am
episode?
so down for this.
What is this episode? This definitely feels like a part one, doesn't it?
Yeah, uh-huh.
I'm not sure, but if I had to guess, I'd say we must have been forcibly transported.
Maybe that's just how they welcome their guests.
Forcibly.
Let's do this. I don't know about you guys, but
Oh.
I'm ready to get my free grub on. Well, that's what I call service.
Secrets of the Cosmos. Maybe with the text is, editing itself. Maybe something about them and the place they have in the universe is constantly getting adjusted, So when something bad would happen to the book, basically, it's like, nope, you are now over here. Because there's some kind of space-time anomaly that is at play here. We just have to figure out, what's the pattern.
So where's all the free food
these
and booze
charcoal
that we were
drawings?
promised?
Yeah, no kidding. I'm
Yeah,
interested in the all
I think so.
part of the deal. Come on.
Eating books?
This data is yummy. It has such a delicate yet bold flavor. It's so delicious and easily digitized that my operating system is in overdrive. I've never downloaded such organized and tasty data.
Oh!
Wow.
Pathetic living beings! No, you meat puppets could never understand the beauty of this experience.
I don't see how that paper could be tasty.
Of course you don't. Your sense of taste is totally different.
I don't want to see boobs and centerfolds. I want to grab them. One cannot live by data alone.
Oh my god.
Drive me nuts. It's all this damn ticket's fault.
Oh! Yeah, do not harm knowledge. You went to go and harm the book. Yeah.
We're so glad to have you back. Welcome home, Great Librarian Alethea and Deputy Librarian Idea.
You don't happen to go by one of those names, do
The
you?
books.
Oh, yeah.
That's it.
Dr. Gel?
Wow.
Believe it. I finally found the missing piece that will complete the formula. Indeed, it all makes sense to me.
It was so simple this whole time.
Yep. Boobies. But it's also the shape on the planet.
Wait.
Yeah. Oh my gosh,
man.
please. Keep going.
The book that you see before you is actually The Librarian of Legado, the Great Library Planet.
Wow.
The greatest of all banned literature, also known as Secrets of the Cosmos for Dummies.
Yes! Yes!
I'm not following you, buddy.
And beside Alethea is...
The Deputy Librarian, Idea. I'm the one who was put in charge of the recovery operation.
And you tore me!
Excellent work. Thank you.
Erasing and rewriting the memories of others is a simple task for the Great Librarian.
Whoa.
The only shortcoming our Excellency has is the inability to move around unassisted. Other beings must be manipulated in order to facilitate movement.
See, we like these things called hands, thumbs,
Yeah.
legs.
I know I shouldn't go off on my own, but I want to see the universe.
Oh.
The checkout request came and I went for it because I thought it might be my only chance.
Poor thing, I know how she feels.
You don't know nothing.
This little lady's a dreamer, just like me, Dandy.
I wanted to see all of the things I had only ever read about in books. Incantation dancing? The heads of the crucified on the prison gates. What kind of creepy books have you been reading?
You had us all worried!
Now, no need to get so upset. After all, there is some good that's come out of this.
Book-type aliens have the ability to manipulate others' brains into thinking about problems they find too bothersome to deal with themselves. When they achieve the answer to the problem, they gather the energy the being exerted while thinking and feed off of it to survive. Wow, that's really interesting.
Yeah, this is really
Basically,
interesting.
Like unfinished books who feed off of others in order to fill their pages with information.
Very eloquently put. Unfortunately, you three were of absolutely no help in that regard, but not to worry. Allow me to handle this.
Crap.
I understand. It all makes sense
Yeah,
now.
Gel's been doing it for them.
Yep. Prepare to get paged into nothing.
Wow.
Jeez.
Alright.
I've realized why it was so difficult for me to solve this formula. Would you like me to tell you?
Yes.
Right now, we need to evacuate.
I've stumbled upon an amazing truth that one cannot simply forget. A knowledge of such power.
Oh my
It spells death for anyone who might attain it.
And he's gonna forget it all right when things go. But this is so incredible.
This is whack. I love it.
Oh my god.
Shame you don't remember the time we spent together because I thoroughly enjoyed myself.
I love the color on the black
and
and mostly black and white
You were with us that
background.
long and we had no clue?
Take that box with you. Consider it your reward for a job well done. But whatever you do, you mustn't open it early.
So, like, this is just nuts, y'all. Like, this is so good.
So it was opened, and
and we don't know how many times they've been here either. Yeah.
Okay.
Who knows? Like,
it wasn't long before similar laser discs, cassette tapes, and floppy disks began popping up all over the galaxy.
wow.
Eventually, they became jumbled together, causing a war that dragged the entire universe into chaos. Unfortunately, there is no record of it ever even happening.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. That was so good. That was so freaking good.
Wow.
As a concept and as just a single episode. And at the center of it all, boobies. Yep.
I'm pretty sure that there's some, like, kind of like how with the Star Wars movies, well, before Disney at least, there was like the checklist of like it needs to have all these things. Like someone needs to say, I've got a bad feeling about this. R2D2 needs to save the day, you know, use the Force, all that stuff, right? I feel like boobies is that for Space Dandy, where there needs to be some reference to boobies at some point.
Yes.
Whether they actually go there or not. Okay.
Oh my god. So that was one of the craziest episodes.
Yeah, that was whack.
It feels like the sci-fi version of the like kind of the more kind of plot concept idea version of the one with the plants, in that this one was more about kind of the exploration of the concept rather than the characters themselves being in the midst of the concept.
Right.
So,
which is interesting because we only truly found out what the concept was towards the end, because a lot of this was sort of the uncovering the mystery and whatnot.
Right.
And yet then, you know.
Yeah, well that's the thing. It's the mystery box.
Right.
It's basically the idea that knowledge the thing that we devote ourselves to constantly.
Boobies.
We want no, really. Boobies are a knowledge-based experience. They are. It's just something that you basically have to experience. You have to have some connection towards you. You send out your senses into the environment to observe,
yes,
to experience.
Indeed.
And then that data gets relayed into your memories.
And hopefully not erased, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And yeah, you hope that it's not erased, but that's basically all that life is.
Mm-hmm.
Is us in the present, putting out our observers, and then instantly everything gets logged back into memory. And there are a lot of things that we just end up forgetting about because the knowledge regarding them doesn't end up being as important. So,
right,
yeah, in this episode, the art, the characters are basically just this kind of muted down, grayscale bit, kind of homogenized. Doesn't really stand out as much.
Yeah, the art was really interesting because
there
were some points where they were doing like it might not have been charcoal, but it was at the very least like pencil drawings.
It very much seemed like charcoal.
And which really helped with the general contrast of the colors. Like when the book finally ended up like taking the words back and writing in its pages, that blue flash stood out way more because of it. And like the shadows had a very different feel to them, and yeah.
Yeah, but the idea also of the mystery box itself being something that we got to experience through the very, very beginning of it being like, we have a box. If you observe it, you forget it. There's the silence in Doctor Who, which is a concept of a creature that if you ever observe them and then look away, the minute you look away, the second you look away, you forget everything about them.
Gotcha. Do you remember the previous things that you forgot when you see it again?
No. Oh, yes. Yes, okay. You do. Yes, gotcha. You do. Right. Yes, exactly. Okay. So it led to people basically writing messages all over the walls themselves, creating tally marks to showcase how many times you had encountered these creatures. Some very kind of memento style thing where you basically end up covered in messages specifically because you would see them immediately.
Right.
You go to look at your hands and then suddenly it's like, don't panic. You've encountered these things before. You forget them when you look away. I've seen them, this many times. That kind of stuff. But it's a fantastic thing to focus on if you just ever experience beyond a certain point with regards to this being, this life form, then you just lose all memory of it. Because knowledge really isn't something as much that I'd say most of us really taste, if you will. And I liked that kind of aspect of it from QT, is that QT in the present enjoys the consumption of knowledge. We oftentimes, I would say, take a lot of knowledge for granted, and it only becomes relevant to us
once we lose it.
Once we get it into our memory banks. Gotcha. Then we draw upon it functionally and go, see, now it has value because I'm drawing upon the knowledge that I already stored to then use in a specific situation. Whereas QT is in the present actually getting a pleasurable experience from that bit there. Like I know someone who loves to read math books just for the purpose of learning stuff. I do not get any pleasure out of reading math books.
Right.
In some ways, I don't get as much pleasure from learning, if you will, as I used to. Like, do you remember that point in your life where you way more took pleasure from the idea of learning something that was completely new, like you had no grid for?
Right. I'm way more interested in applying things now, which makes sense, because you get older and it's more of the things of, okay, if you're constantly learning new things, that's great. Learning things is wonderful, but if you never shift into the stage where you stop learning and start doing, or try and keep learning, but do that while you're doing.
Well, see, that's I think the point of this episode. That's, I think, the point of this episode, is that knowledge is so vast and limitless in terms of what it can be that we should realize the wisdom in what QT is experiencing, in that the act of actually learning and absorbing knowledge and tasting it, like getting to bite our teeth into it, is something that is valuable. I'm like realizing that there might have been like some really deep stuff hidden in this episode here.
What I was wondering is if the whole aspect of the planet being fairly barren and empty was it also maybe a representation on when it becomes when we become so focused on something like, okay, because knowledge is power, right? And yet the application of knowledge is where it gets really powerful, right? And like what's the saying, like there's knowledge and then wisdom is application of knowledge, like and things like that. So
it's experience.
Right.
Yeah.
And in this situation, when they go down to the planet, the colors are all muted and things like that, and they take on those colors themselves while they're down there, and nothing's really moving. Like, eventually the creatures show up and whatnot, but it's just sort of there.
Well,
right?
That's the thing. Knowledge in and of itself cannot act.
Right.
It needs a being in order to carry it from place to place. So yeah, we as the beings of will, we are necessary in order for knowledge to have its place in this existence, in reality. If the universe wasn't observed, would it even exist? Could you prove that it even exists?
Well, I don't know if you can necessarily prove that it exists right now, but
that's the point. We getting into quantum physics and stuff, which I have very little knowledge of at all. I remember a lot of people who are way more experienced in that area talking to me about the nature of reality and how much is based upon purely observation.
Right, hence the Matrix.
Right, but things enter into a non-state of being when they're not being observed. It's the whole Schrodinger's cat thing.
It's
the box.
Quantum superposition kind of a deal.
Right, but I think that's funny that we had the box literally in this episode, which could have literally been kind of a little representation of that, where whatever's in there, Schrodinger's cat, for instance, is in a state of both being alive and dead in the box until you open the box and you observe it.
Yeah.
It's just really fascinating that this episode was like, yeah, we're just going to kind of pop in a bunch of little ideas with regards to that, and knowledge being the whole thing that arrests someone's will for a little bit and is seen as a parasite. It's like, they're trying, parasites tend to have a negative connotation, right?
Yeah, it saps strength from the host. Yeah,
right. But if we see it in a more symbiotic level, Dr. Gel wouldn't have necessarily been able to solve everything regarding that without some aspect of the knowledge kind of arresting him in his will in that moment there. Now, he was able to do maybe way more than what his assistant would have been able to do because Dr. Jelly is a brilliant scientist. So knowledge applied has more potential depending on how willing or how able someone is to interface with the knowledge.
Okay.
I just think that's rather interesting in that I could read... Actually, let's just take this anime, for instance. Space Dandy as an anime is not really for everyone.
No, definitely
not. It's a very specific kind of type of anime. And I could see a lot of people watching Space Dandy and not really getting as much out of it.
Sure. Especially from episode to episode.
Right. But, we kind of come into Space Dandy with a specific approach of what are some things that we can get out of it to discuss and go with that. So there's this aspect of application that is inherent to it, but it is us also adjusting a little bit to the anime itself, to the actual source of the knowledge. And if we didn't do that, we might not be able to interpret it.
Sure.
So it's kind of like how Honey basically just looks at this thing.
Right, and just knows.
How does she know? There's no explanation at all. If anything, it's the actual knowledge shifting itself to be something that kind of focuses on helping her to achieve that. So, yeah.
I gotta say, some of the things that I did really like from this episode was the additional focus on Dr. Gel and his assistant. Whenever they are on screen, even though their place in the episode is usually pretty small, I really like their interactions. It's fun, it's dynamic, and seeing all the different episode directors and writers takes on the characters, especially these two wacky ones because I feel like they've been, they're pretty characterized, but on such a surface level that I love to see that those little quirks that they have beneath the surface that don't surface as often.
Okay.
So that was really good. The action that they randomly had there for a little bit was crazy.
Oh yeah, with the colors and everything.
Oh yeah,
being much more dramatic because of the muted backgrounds and stuff.
Right.
So when Dandy fires the whatever that weapon,
I forget what it was called. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when the enemy ships just fire thousands and thousands of missiles and all that stuff, it's like, okay, all right, yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, and having the art be basically just I would say a thing to focus primarily on like the specific stuff that's moving. So a lot of the backgrounds end up getting muted. It made some of the animation bits, I'd say, just pop in an exciting way. So like those parts with the missiles and stuff seemed that much more exciting.
Yep.
Not just because it was like fire everything, you know, but like
yeah,
but like it just visually was that much more exciting. I saw a little bit of a continuity thing that was kind of interesting. The idea that Meow was saying that she's a dreamer like me is something that we wouldn't have known if this episode came previously in the season.
Oh, that's a good point.
So there's an
I didn't
idea
even
that
think about that.
Yeah, there's an idea that some of the characterization that we've been getting for the main crew now has things that we can draw back to and go, yes, that is who Meow is.
Sure.
Because literally in the first episode, the episode prior to this, we got that knowledge.
Wow.
Which means that in some ways our memory of a specific thing that we were given here made the actual knowledge that was given to us here actually connect and mean something more. I think this is a very good episode to watch like high.
Oh, I don't doubt it. Because I can imagine.
Because I think the art, the plant one, the kind of the one that was almost all artistic and atmosphere and stuff like that.
Yeah, very relaxing. And
that one I think would also be probably pretty good to watch high, but that would be more for the visual pleasure.
Yeah.
I think this one is good for like the kind of the thinking pleasure.
Mind trip, yeah.
Right, which I think is the experience that we were getting same way to QT, and he was like, the taste of this, like we were so excited by the mystery element that we were getting excited about nothing. You think about that?
Sometimes, yeah.
Well, no. Literally what we were in this episode during the reaction, when we were getting the mystery stuff, we were so much more engaged and excited.
Yep.
Right. And that's basically the equivalent of what QT was experiencing, but it was something that QT was actually getting a literal download of things there.
Right.
Like,
it was a lot more direct and straightforward.
Right. We're just getting excited about potential.
Gotcha.
Like, I mean, the literal mystery is a thing, but just how something can be made more than what it initially is on perception is just kind of interesting.
Cool.
In terms of how the episode ended, though, it ends with the book basically finishing itself because of Gel's basically work on the whole thing here.
Yep.
And then us kind of getting almost the feeling of going through a loop. Now we come back to Scarlet again with the same box, but it's actually a different box.
Something's different inside it and everything, and how that works, I have no idea. But yeah.
Yeah, I this is the episode that I actually really want to go and rewatch quite a bit, because I think that what they were doing here was trying to get us to ask questions about perception, the field in which we absorb knowledge.
Gotcha.
We can't absorb knowledge without perception. Like if you didn't have the ability to have senses, you would have no way to interface with existence.
Right, and I wouldn't even know what the concept of existence was or anything like that. Yeah.
Right, which means that you would also have no memories because you would not have absorbed anything. So
yeah, probably. Maybe just a instinct in a vacuum, and whatever that would have done on its own, but you can't, but trying to imagine that without actually being able to perceive would that go into the perception of your own thoughts and stuff too? Like,
sure.
I don't know.
And I think if anything, the closest thing we can get to with the loop is that they've already looked in it maybe who knows how many number of times, or it's not that at all, and it's not even really relevant. But the idea that if you had your memories constantly being cycled, which they are, we know scientifically that we dump memories constantly because they're just not useful anymore.
Yeah.
Right. how would we know that, like what would we know, if anything, regarding the memories? The memories themselves are just there to serve us in the present.
Well, right. That's how that whole scary thing can get into. Whenever you can manipulate memories, then you immediately have to question what is real.
Yep.
Right? Because if erasing memories is a bit simpler than like fabricating memories. Once you get into fabricating memories, then it gets way more complicated. But even then, yeah, it's that, have we been here before? Have we done this before? Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like that's a really exciting thing, because I've talked with people who talk about the idea of, reality being a simulation, and there's no perfect way, as far as I know, that we can interface with our memories to prove that they actually existed.
Right.
In the same way that dreams are, as far as we know, a combination of stimuli, right?
Yeah. It's the whole idea behind the research into trying to, directly interface our brains with computers, to be able to do that kind of stuff. And if you can do that, then theoretically, the whole concept of memory and thought and things like that, does that kind of go away? Because at that point, we're directly influencing it with electrical signals, like
right. And or like if it's just a code, a language that we don't understand, and we finally find a way to interface with it, do we then basically get to remove the barrier between conscious and subconscious and just be able to read the things that we would have originally just been dumping because it's either too confusing or it's just not really relevant to just daily survival? Who knows? I don't know. I just love these types of episodes with regards to things, because it's like, yeah, you can question this if you want, but you don't have to, right? Like, it doesn't really change anything whether or not you question it, because we have our own limited capacities for stuff. So, yeah. Good stuff, Dandy. Good stuff. And I would love to know if you were right, though, with regard to Yuasa being the one regarding the animation. Yeah, because
some of the movement and like
the movement started to click on. Yeah,
looked kind of like his style. But
but. All right. That's enough rambling. So, y'all, thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, though, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get on early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there. And all this comes with Discord access, so you can chat with us and the community there about this show, about anime in general. You can also talk with Jake about the sci-fi novel that he wrote.
Yep. Wrote a sci-fi novel. It's called Battle Lines. It's on Amazon for purchase. Link in the description down below.
Yeah, so if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.